Hi, everyone. Welcome to our event. I'm Michelle Glauser. I am the founder and CEO of Techtonica. I started Techtonica because I saw that all of the intensive tech training programs available in the Bay Area were not breaking down all of the barriers for the people who are most underrepresented in tech and most in danger of displacement because of tech. So we are a nonprofit and we are so excited to have you all here. We have our participants, we have several employees, including Talia, Tiffany, and Bill. And then we have supporters and of course, some sponsors and even some past graduates. So thank you all for being here. We hope you will hear some inspiring things tonight. And with that, I'm going to, or actually let me just first say, please keep yourself on mute unless you are the one speaking. And feel free to share this on social media. We just posted it on Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter, and Instagram. It's also streaming live on our YouTube channel right now, which is pretty cool. So yeah, I'm going to turn it over to Bill, who is our software engineering apprenticeship manager, and he will introduce himself and then start us off. Bill.
Hello, can you hear me now? Okay, sorry about that. I was on double mute. Yeah, so thanks for coming, like Michelle said. So my name is Bill. I'm the apprenticeship manager. So I just started this cohort, so I've been helping this group of people you're about to meet learn full stack JavaScript, which is the core of our curriculum. And I'm gonna have them introduce themselves in just a second, but just wanted to talk about like how the program runs. And so I'm focused mainly on the classroom portion. I say that in quotes because it's more of a self-directed learning. So I don't get up there and lecture. It's more about following our curriculum, which is open source, and we'll post a link to that if you're interested in the details. But we have lots of volunteers that maintain that curriculum. I spend a lot of time in there sort of tweaking it and making sure that it's the right material to maximize success. And then where sponsors come in is that then you'll hire them as interns. So I'm gonna have each member of our cohort introduce themselves. We're gonna go in reverse alphabetical order just because the A's always get stuck going first. So let me just confirm the first person's on there. So I'm gonna,
I am.
yes, go ahead. So this is Jacques. Go ahead.
Great. Is my video working? Cool. Oh no, I'm so sorry. I have a tacky background. Let me quickly remove that.
Looks great.
Okay, cool. So hello everyone, my name is Jacques and I'm Central Asian, born and raised in Prague and then later moved to the East Coast before ultimately ending up here. And the reason I want to be a software engineer is for the opportunity and access it creates. I want a career path that can scale with my goals and ambitions. And I think it's amazing that we have the power to build and create, that even during a pandemic like this, we're stuck at home, but we're not really stuck at home because we have this incredible skill that allows us to extend beyond our perceived limitations. And speaking of perceived limitations, my biggest obstacle in this journey, like of trying to become an engineer, has been my own perceived limitations. So growing up, I did not see people around me who looked like me who were in tech. So that was just not a thing. And with the cultural values that I was raised with as well, women were not technical. And that's been very difficult. So yeah, and that's also the reason I turned to Techtonica, is for representation and support in that sense. And it's been really amazing. I really enjoy spending every day with a crowd that I feel so included and cared for with, and it's been a great time. So that's me.
Thank you, Jacques. So up next, I'll turn it over to Zarina.
Hello, everybody. My name is Arina. I'm originally from Uzbekistan, but I've been living in the States for the past 10 years now. I'm interested in tech because I wanted to challenge myself and to develop my programming skills and to build cool and useful products and different projects. My journey to tech started about 4 years ago when I won a Grow with Google scholarship to study Android basics, where I studied XML and basics Java to develop simple Android apps. And I really enjoyed that. And when I moved to Silicon Valley from Nashville, Tennessee, I was really even more inspired because of the tech scene in Silicon Valley and just how many amazing companies are here and just people are building really cool projects that affect millions of people. So I was really inspired and I would attend a lot of different conferences and would get inspired even more hearing those stories. So I wanted to continue that journey, but I didn't know where to start. And that's when I found Techtonica. And I was really excited to join because it's a unique program with a supportive group of people that challenge us every day to develop our technical skills and to succeed in this industry. And so I'm very grateful for that. And yeah, I just look forward to continue developing my tech skills. And I really hope to bring value to the tech industry and also to bring diversity. Thank you.
Thank you, Zarina. So up next, I'll turn it over to Tashara. Oh, I think she told me she's having internet issues. So let's see. Robin, would you mind going next? We'll come back.
Totally.
I'm here. I
Okay.
just got back in. If you didn't want to go now, Robin.
Oh, I mean, I can go or you can go. Doesn't,
Okay.
yeah. Hi, I am currently having technical issues with my camera. I'm so sorry about that. Give me one sec. Actually, Tashara, if you want to go and I'll fix this.
Cool. All right. I think, can you see me? Yes. So, hi, my name is Tashara Boucher, and I wanted to be a part of this because I wanted to be an agent of change. And I wanted to be an agent of change because I wanted to see by like, I guess, providing a space for where people that look like me could like feel welcomed. So feel like that, like by joining the tech industry, which there's a lack of Black women, I guess specifically within the software engineering field, that which is why, and some of my barriers of entries, I guess, is this very thing that I want to become, is like the lack of representation. There's just not a lot of persons that look like me, and then there's yeah, so it's essentially the message is being said that like I'm not welcomed. And I'm interested in tech because again, like I love to like problem solve, and I love to like turn like really big problems into small accomplishable problems and goals. And so like one of the I believe like I am interested like in Techtonica because I like the mission that they stand for, which is um, for a group of taking a group of women from like low economic backgrounds and accomplishing the same goals of becoming a software engineer. You know, the old saying goes is, if you want to go far, you know, go with the group. If you want to go fast, go alone. And so I definitely want to go far within the industry. So I really appreciate them providing that kind of support with the different women from all different varying backgrounds. And I believe that I would be a good software engineer because I come from a background of physics as well as a social science background of being a chaplain in the hospital. So I have both the communication skills of being able to like have to communicate with persons and to understand the problems in niches, as well as the science or technical background of being able to like again break down those like chunks of large problems into small accomplishable goals and problems. And that's all.
Thank you, Tashara. So, Rob, I'm not sure if your microphone was fixed. I'll give you a second to jump
It
in.
wasn't my microphone, it's just my video.
Oh, right.
Yeah, which I am not sure why that's happening. Should I wait and try to fix it some more, or should I just go no video?
I guess just go without video.
All right.
Sorry,
Cool.
yeah.
Yeah, no worries. So my name is Robin. I'm originally from Texas, and I've been in the Bay for about 8 years now. And I've always been interested in programming. It's always been something I not secretly wanted to do, but just it was like a side interest. I love 90s movies and hacker movies, and would see people doing that and just thought it was the coolest thing, and just didn't have the access and support where I was. I didn't really know computer engineering was a thing that I could or wanted to do. And so being in the Bay, it's drenched in tech, and I slowly started getting into different online courses, and I also ironically got a scholarship with Google for their 3-month boot camp that they had on just front end JS, CSS, and HTML, which I loved. And so once I heard about Techtonica and the fact that they're trying to help underrepresented people break into an industry that is difficult to get into, I was so excited to apply. And now being a part of the cohort, it's amazing to be able to work with these many great minds and feel the support and love that these free online courses didn't provide, and also the opportunity to get directly in front of companies that are making world-changing products. So yeah. And one thing that is hard for me in the program is that I don't have enough time to learn all of the things I would like to. So that's a struggle, trying not to rabbit hole and staying focused on the goal at hand. So yeah, thank you.
Thank you, Robin. So up next, we're going to hear from Quincy.
I'm Quincy, and I've always wanted, or I want to work in tech as a software engineer because it's an exciting and highly creative, fast-paced, challenging career, and I see coding as an opportunity to fuse my passion for the arts with my passion for logic, theory, and puzzles. And coding is a very lucrative way to do this. It's an essential service to the public, and I want to be able to create software that can be useful to people. Growing up, technology was not supported in my household, and I was unable to pursue a career in software development until now, thanks to Techtonica. And I'm excited to be a part of this program because it's one of the few in the Bay Area who are doing something to aid the demographic diversity disparity in tech in a significant way. And I'm looking forward to directly benefiting from it, and also giving back to this program. I also believe that my experience in education as a fine artist is going to give me a unique perspective in both front-end and back-end software development. And I think that I could provide a perspective not only as an artist, but as a female engineer, and improve software design with artists, women, and non-binary individuals in mind. And that's it.
Thanks, Quincy.
Thanks.
So up next, we're going to hear from Nazreen.
Hi all. I think you can hear me, right?
Yep.
Yes. Oh, great. Hi, I'm Nasreen. I used to be a mechanical engineer, a proud mechanical engineer, and a nanotechnologist. And then I moved to US a couple of years ago, and I was just waiting for my legal immigration paperwork to go through. And I had time for myself. And definitely I can't work with machines at that time. And that's when I just wanted to learn some skills, use my time. And that's when I started coding. I started out with Python. I have an interesting relationship with programming because society, from where I'm from, I don't want to say which country, because I do believe that I belong in the world. So from the little corner of the world, from where I come from, I was expected, when I wanted engineering, I was expected to be a computer engineer because that's more feminine, as opposed to working with hard machines and hammers and heat and everything. But I didn't want to be fit in a box. And since when I was sixth grade, I wanted to be a mechanical engineer, and I tried that. And it worked. I loved it. I still enjoy it. But then at some point, this came, right? Programming, I was just trying it. And then I realized that I really enjoy programming. I enjoy the problem solving part of it. I enjoy building things, and I get the same excitement which I used to which I get when I used to work with machines. The same is with computers. It's just that computers and programming is more accessible, and I can do it from anywhere. So I slowly turned into this, and I'm like, oh, this is not bad. And then I started with Python, and then I tried SQL and Java. And then I enjoyed, especially the backend web development. That's what hooked me. I really enjoy backend web development. The thing is, building something new, creating functionalities, that's so me. Yeah, with Techtonica, we are learning full stack JavaScript, but I still am a hardcore Java enthusiast. I really enjoy it, and a hardcore backend developer enthusiast as well. I think that's the path I want to take, and I'm sure about that. I know what I'm capable of doing, and I do intend to be in a position where women like me can take decisions. Like, that's what I aim for. I don't want less. Yes, I'm a woman. I have always been the only one in the hall, sometimes in the building, when I used to be the mechanical engineer. So I'm used to being the only one, but I don't want to be that. I want to change the ratio. I just want to see more women in the technology and in a position where they can take decisions. And the way I came to, sorry, I think something spicy is cooking over there. I just got on it. Yeah, so I needed Techtonica because as an outsider here in Silicon Valley, without an education in computer programming, it was hard for me to get into tech, right? I tried job and getting to junior positions, but it didn't work out for me. And that's when Techtonica came in. And that's exactly what I wanted, the support system where I could enter into tech. And I know that an opening is what I wanted. And I know that once I'm in, I'm just going to be the best. Yeah. And I really enjoy working with all these women, the support system. Yeah, it's great. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Nazreen. Up next is Liz.
Hey there, am I on mic? All good?
Yes.
All
Yep.
right. My name is Liz Andre, and at the last minute, I decided that I want to tell my story a little non-traditionally, as a story with a beginning, a middle, and an X. I haven't practiced this because I did just decide, so hopefully it goes well, but here it goes. I come from a background in technical sourcing, working for Bay Area startups. In a fun coincidence, I actually worked on diversity sourcing in engineering. And at my last company, back half a step. So while I was doing that job, I was also battling a mystery illness and trying to find a diagnosis for it. During the time of COVID, it's kind of funny because the symptoms everyone's so scared about are the symptoms I have every day of my life and have for the last 2 years, really bad coughing, daily fevers. So that has been debilitating for me. And in my last role as a technical sourcer, my last company, I had the privilege of being the first openly non-binary employee. I even had my pronouns on my business cards. They were really supportive of that. But sort of the change we're all having right now, we're having difficulty adapting to using they, them pronouns, and everyone does it. I get my pronouns wrong all the time. And sort of correcting people feels awkward for everyone involved. And I think I didn't like how that felt. And in my job, people would accidentally misgender me, and I didn't want to call them out because I didn't want us to get stuck in that awkwardness hole. And it was suggested to me that I start a sort of like swear jar for pronouns. So if someone gets them wrong, they put some money in the jar and it goes to a charity of my choice. And what I thought about with that is that I'd actually rather put the money towards something like a GoFundMe for another queer or trans individual who needs the support. And I have been thinking about that for over a year, and working and sourcing for engineers. I wanted to get into engineering. Techtonica fell into my lap, and I'm really excited about that because I went from only sort of knowing the buzzwords 3 months ago to I learned how to make components in React that function this week. It's really exciting. And in a couple of weeks, I'm going to start on my final project, which is an application that functions as an online swear jar where groups of people can start a campaign, and I will find related GoFundMes to whatever their swear jar is. It could be a pronoun jar, it could be like a guy's jar, and just push sort of these campaigns to them so they can contribute directly to people who need it and they don't have to put in the work in of finding those people. That's going to be my final project, and it's been a year in the making, and I'm really fortunate to be here. Can't wait for what happens next.
Sorry, glitched out a little bit. Up next is Lisa.
Hey everyone, my name is Lisa. Actually, before Techtonica, I studied chemistry, thought I wanted to become a researcher, but then I took a computer science class and I really fell in love with it. And also, I was born and raised in San Francisco, so I kind of was aware of the tech scene. It seemed like something really interesting, but because I didn't know anyone else in tech, that any other women or anyone else who looked like me, and it thought it wasn't for me. So I stuck with chemistry, but in the back of my mind, always wanting to take that leap and try out engineering. And I realized that a lot of the skills I've learned from chemistry translate into engineering, where I can take a complex problem, break it down, and that the collaborative problem solving was really exciting to me. But in order to make that change, make that switch, we need some training, and that's when I found out about Techtonica, and their mission really resonated with me. And they were a really big help in just removing barriers, especially financial barriers, so we can just focus on learning. And another really big thing was that was really important to me is to meet other women and non-binary people who want to get into tech and build that network of people who really support us. And that was a really big priority for me. And going through the program, something that was challenging but also really interesting was and exciting is taking these words that I used to only hear about, like all these buzzwords, kind of similar to what Liz was saying with learning React. Before, it was just something that I heard engineers talk about. I had no idea what they were talking about. It was way over my head. But so going from that to being able to use it, creating components in React and actually building a full app is really exciting. And I'm looking forward to keep learning new things. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you, Lisa. Yeah, we've been doing a lot of React this week, so it is starting to become pretty fun, pretty real. So up next, we have Gloria.
Hi. Hi. So I'm Gloria. A little bit background about myself is that I used to be a manual QA, functional QA tester. And so I always worked very closely with developers and BAs. And I saw what the developers did, and I thought that it was really cool. And I did dabble a little bit in coding myself. I did some courses back at CCSF, but I never really had the time or the tools to learn how to be a software engineer full time. And so when Techtonica came up, I thought it was like this perfect opportunity where I could just pour in all my focus into learning. And so 3 months into Techtonica, I learned a lot. I got to learn about React, how to build APIs. And I thought that was the coolest thing because I always been testing API endpoints, but I never knew how to create them or how they actually really worked. So it was really nice to see, like, instead of black box testing, I actually get to see now what's inside of the code and whatnot. I think the coolest thing that I've done so far at Techtonica was like an early project of mine. I can show you guys really quick. Is this little Kirby coin thing. It's super simple. It's just a coin flipper, but it's the most adorable thing ever. I made this all out of CSS. It's just like, and the little coin spin. I just think it's the cutest thing ever. But it's really simple, but it's really cute and fun to do, to play with. And I think that's just the coolest thing about Techtonica is that I'm creating things from scratch and I get to see it come alive. And I think that's the coolest thing ever. Yeah.
Thanks, Gloria. Yeah, I think we all remember seeing that game kind of emerge from a very simple thing and get more and more complicated till we were like, whoa, that's CSS and stuff. So yeah, it was really cool. So up next, we have Gabby.
Hi, y'all. My name is Gabby Moreno. I'm from East Los Angeles. I have a background in cognitive science, and I was a research assistant in college, where I realized I did not want to go into research. I've been interested in tech overall since I discovered pet pages on Neopets when I was younger. I had no idea the power that I was holding in my 9-year-old hands. Literally, the code I was making could be lucrative enough to make like big things like software. But it's been kind of hard to realize that, and it's been hard to get into tech because in college I didn't really feel like I was welcomed in those classes and in that space. I also didn't know much about tech growing up. I didn't even know software engineering was a job. I'm a first generation Mexican American, and so a lot of tech things weren't really talked about. Like in LA, it's not as big of a tech hub as SF is, so we didn't really see it, and I didn't know how it worked. But once I did get a taste of it and I knew what I was doing, it was amazing. I fell in love with it. I love solving problems, and coding is basically just one big problem after another. I fell in love with the ability to create something from scratch and have someone across the world interact with it. Eventually, I want to use my skills to help people by using tech and uplift them, especially people in marginalized communities, people of color, non-binary people. And I feel like Techtonica is the best choice I've ever made to kind of get to that goal because they've surrounded us with a lot of support, and it's been a challenge with learning new things. Like we went over React. I had an error for like 3 hours. But Techtonica has taught us how to be more resilient when code doesn't work, and it's been worth it. And I can't imagine doing this journey without all the friends I've made here. And that's it.
Thanks, Gabby. So up next, Cadence.
Hi everyone, my name is Cadence. I'm interested to be a software engineer because I'm curious how a website and application work in the back end. It has been hard for me to get into tech because I'm lack of connection. I'm excited about joining Techtonica because it gives me an opportunity to grow as a software engineer with learning resources and support. I believe I will make a good software engineer because I'm not afraid of making mistakes, and it can improve my knowledge in language skill. The most challenging I learned so far is applying ideas to React and making it work. I grow my knowledge by watching tutorials and doing the program projects. I never know I can go this far without joining Techtonica. Strengthening my skill because one day I want to build my own application and to serve it to the tech industry. Thank you.
Thank you, Cadence. So second to last, we have Ariel.
Hi, hello, folks. I am Ariel. You can call me Ari, and I'm originally from Compton. I'm here today to let you know why engineering, right? I mean, why not? The leading reason I want to be an engineer, though, is because I want to maximize my greatest impact. And I don't mean just my greatest impact, but like the greatest good I can do unto the world. I think, call me an idealist, but I think that this field creates powerful opportunities that are constantly changing the world with its new solutions. And it has such a wide scope to touch everyone's lives. And then that scope is just constantly expanding. And I know someone touched on it earlier, but take, for example, COVID-19, right? And still here we are able to communicate through Zoom. Here we are able to have classes. Folks are still able to take educational courses. Techtonica is still happening very much. And it seems simple enough. It seems simple enough, but it's actually a team. It's a team that's constantly updating the web. It's a team that's constantly connecting us to resources, constantly connecting us to information, and ensuring that everyone has some type of safety through this access. And that's what I want to be a part of. I want to be a part of a team that is constantly pushing and expanding the boundaries that we currently exist in for a greater world. And this is also why Techtonica feels like the right path. They're set on doing their greatest good also, and they're committed to hashtag bridging the tech gap. And I just feel like when we're able to harness these technologies into improving everyone's lives, we create a better world. And I'm excited for a world that we're currently creating where folks like underrepresented people, people of color, Black women, non-binary individuals are finally having access to all these spaces. And here we are, just a small scale of it. And I'm excited to see that expand. Yeah.
Thank you, Ariel. That was really nice. And then last but not least, we have Amy.
Hi. Oh, hopefully you can hear me. Hi, I'm Amy, and I was born and raised here in San Francisco. And a little bit about myself was when I was growing up, I'm coming up from a family who's low class, low income, and also first generation. And with that, how I got into technology was watching my dad break apart mechanics, like little machines, and trying to salvage them. And from there, I was curious how things work, and I wanted to get down and dirty of how everything works. And I wanted to learn, I wanted to problem solve, and it gave me a way to be creative too. So with that, I got in, when I went to college, I was studying computer engineering, and I was thinking about building like hardware for computers. But I got into soldering, and after I did that, I wanted to try something different. So I wanted to do coding. So when I heard about Techtonica, it resonated with me with their mission, wanting to help minorities and people who are coming from low class income, and that they really want to help people. So being able to be in Techtonica for about 3 months now, I really, really enjoy how I get to be with a team to learn and to build, to struggle, go through all these things together with mentors and volunteers, to be really inspired by people around us and keep the motivation to keep growing and just wanting more in life. And also everyone's really great here. I'm very lucky to be in this team. And something that I learned like for about 3 months was React. It was very exciting and fun. It makes sense why we are learning all these little small parts, because it builds a bigger picture. Like you first learn how to code in JavaScript, how CSS works, and then you move on to Express, jQuery, and everything like that. And putting the puzzles together is such a great feeling. And to be able to share it with people who are going through the same thing to grow is like the best feeling ever. So thank you for listening.
Thanks, Amy. Thanks for closing it out. Yeah, I think I first met this group when we met to do some JavaScript pre-learning, like sort of summer reading in December, I guess. And I was struck right away by how prepared everyone was. And then when we started being hosted at Indeed's office, I was wondering sort of as a new manager, like, oh, do I need to like do like icebreakers or something? But the team just like gelled without any effort by anyone. It was really nice to see. So I also feel like we got really lucky with this group. So I'm going to show a few slides, not too long, because I know it's getting on in the hour. So let me do that. One sec. Okay, so I think this is actually not the speaker view, but it wouldn't show up the one I wanted. So anyway, sorry about that, but hopefully you can read in that too small. But I just want to talk a little bit about the apprenticeship process itself in case you are less familiar with it. So our goal is to be open to beginners. So some folks come in with no programming experience at all. So it's like their first time coding. And then we have a series of application processes. And then once they start the full-time program, it's 6 months of full-time learning. So 8:30 to 5:30 every day, every weekday. And lots of other work as well as they know. And then at the conclusion, we do a match with sponsor companies. And so we want to match each participant with a company that's going to hire them on as an intern. And as I mentioned, the curriculum is open source. Come on, little computer. I'm on a Mac Air, and that is just not up to the task for these things. But yeah, so as I mentioned, it's open source. I think Michelle posted a GitHub link in the chat if you want to scroll up and find it. It has tons of stuff. It's changing all the time. We have, in fact, right now, open source contest in India helping contribute slides and stuff. So it's really, really cool. And like I said before, the format of the program is definitely not like a classroom in the sense that people are sitting listening to lectures. It's very much self-driven. And so we do things like every day there's a new day lead. So we rotate that. That person leads stand-up, kind of does some of the logistics, plans out the day, and then also leads the wrap-up. And then we also do a lot of pairing. That's been a little harder virtually, but actually we've been using Zoom a lot, including like the breakout rooms to sort of at least feel more connected working together. So all in all, it's been, I'm glad we met in person first, and it's been pretty good, I guess, as far as continuing in this remote environment. So I've been pretty happy so far. So now, let me stop sharing. One sec. Cool. And then I am going to turn things over to our partnership manager, Tiffany, and she can tell you more about that end of things.
Hi, everyone. I'm Techtonica's partnerships manager. Super awesome to see everyone's face. It's felt pretty lonely as we've converted to remote work, but I'm also going to share my screen, so give me just a moment. I also have a MacBook Air. And so I'm just going to talk a little bit about how companies have worked with us, how the whole partnership process looks like. These are all of our partnerships that have made our mission happen, which is fantastic. This is just a breakdown of who we serve. We aim to serve a minimum of 30% Black folks and Latinx folks because they are the most underrepresented in tech, but particularly on technical and engineering teams. There's 3 different tiers of how to work with us. There's non-hiring partnerships and hiring partnerships, but of course, working with us increases diversity and inclusion. Specifically, we're unique because we support the local community, and companies receive a tax exemption, and then reducing any recruiting and training costs. And then of course, just being part of this amazing community. So the different tiers are the supporter level, which office visits are off the table now, but I'm sure we can get creative with all of the technology we have. But I coordinate with a point of contact to organize team volunteering. The next tier is the ally level, which is similar to the supporter level, but we would then do inclusion workshop for teams with the socioeconomic focus. And then the last level is the hiring partnership, which is all of the above, but a participant would then funnel into a junior software engineer role at your company. So just to kind of break down a little bit more of how advocate level works, I would draft up a sponsor agreement. The company pays us a sponsorship fee, and then we work together to do a press release or social media posts. On my end, I'm coordinating those volunteering events, office visits, etc. On the hiring end, or on the company's end, they're looking at roles that they're trying to fill. So most popular is software engineer, but we have had some folks go into support engineer roles. Some have gone into sales engineer roles. Anything that's like tech plus adjacent that folks would then be able to exercise their coding experience that they've spent 6 months learning. So we invite all of our hiring partners to an interview day, which is happening in May this year, or for this cohort. And you interview our participants. You're looking at those characteristics that Bill had mentioned before, also looking at technical capability. And then similar to like the med school matching process, our participants also rate the companies. And then Michelle and I and our team spend hours and hours and hours looking at your rating forms to ensure that we make a perfect match for you. So for this cohort, it's a start date of June, July. We ask that all of our hiring partners pay at least $1,200 per week. And then to employ the graduate for at least 1,000 hours, it can be either an internship, a contractor, or just a junior level software engineer role. And so 87% of all of our grads are still with their original sponsor companies, which is super awesome. And just these are some kind words of all of our hiring partners that have worked with us. So great testimonies. But yeah, I can be reached. Oh, sorry. I don't know. I'll share my email in the chat. That sounds good. So if you have more questions for me, you can reach out to me directly. So yeah, speaking of sponsors, next up, we're going to speak to Kenji. And he is a longtime sponsor of ours. So yeah.
Hey, everybody.
Hi, Kenji. So I'm just going to start us off by asking you a series of questions and go from there.
Sounds good.
Okay, so can you tell me a little bit about yourself and which company you work for and what does your company do?
Absolutely. So a little bit about myself. My name is Kenji, as everybody is, as I've been introduced. I am the proud father of 3 little girls, ages 7, 4.5, and now 9 months. I come from a biracial background, my father being an immigrant from Japan and my mother from Caucasian from the States in Texas. Let's see, yeah, been in the Bay Area for about 7 years, originally from Austin. That's just a little bit about myself. I work for Indeed, and at Indeed, you can see people. I help people get jobs. That's kind of like our business cards. It's our mission. I'm really proud to be a part of that. Tiny bit more background. I'll share my screen super quick. So that's our youngest. That's Nina. She just turned 9 months.
Aww.
And oops, let's see if I can jump back in there. And we have Misha, who's the older one, and then Kira right next to me there. We've been in partnership with Techtonica. Oh my goodness, it's almost been a little over almost 2 years now. This is from, I think, our first intro celebration for bringing on the first cohort of apprentices. And we're currently working with the second cohort. This is a picture of us at Indeed in our San Francisco office with the first cohort that we were sponsoring as well. So yeah, we're, from the get-go, it was a really great opportunity, and we're really excited to partner with Techtonica and kind of test out the waters, because it's something that Indeed had experience with in Seattle with a similar program called ADA, and they'd seen some phenomenal success, and so we were eager to not only build up our diversity funnel for our candidate pipeline in terms of converting and building up our engineering workforce and diversifying it, but also for the opportunity to really realize success in this area. And so it's been a really fantastic journey so far.
Awesome. Thanks, Kenji. Why do you think it is important to support organizations like ours?
So I'd like to take that question into 2 parts, right? I think there's 2 reasons. One, from the personal side, obviously being a father of 3 little girls, I'm very passionate about seeing them have equitable opportunities in the world, as they grow up, and being able to demonstrate and be like, hey, you can do anything, right? So there's that personal part of my passion in terms of inclusion and belonging, and as well as the diversity. But I would say outside of that, in the second dimension for companies, one of the big things that we had to do is work with our business stakeholders internally, right? We're like, why is this important? Why should I invest time, money, effort, energy into this kind of initiative? And so we kind of laid it bare for them, right? There have been multiple studies on how the diversification of your workforce leads to better throughput, work outcomes, and business impact at the end of the day, right? And so we can show them like at the charts and things here at the, kind of like X, Y, and Z, at least enough to get them to bite on the chomp. They're like, okay, so it's like building the awareness was the first part. The second part was getting the buy-in. The third part was actually getting the leeway, if you will, to give people a chance. And one of the things that comes to mind is that what I'm hearing through everybody's stories that were shared earlier, amazing, beautiful, resilient stories, was that everybody's taking a chance, right? And I think there's not anybody who's on this call or otherwise that would not raise their hand if I asked them the question, like, who's been given a chance, to really excel or do something amazing? And Techtonica serves, and one of the other things I heard is as a platform to be able to realize that. And so when I'm able to tell that story to our business leaders or otherwise, at the how can I say, at the beginning, people were not only bought in, but like we're at Indeed, we help people get jobs. We're very, very data driven. And so it's okay, how are we going to measure this? How are we going to measure success? How are we going to see results? And so I'm really proud to tell the story of the fact that at the end of the day, as of March 16th, we converted from our first cohort 100%, that's 4 out of 4 interns that we sponsored. And currently we're sponsoring another 5 interns. So I think Isabel is actually on the call right now, and she's one of them who's joined one of our teams here in San Francisco. So it's about not only delivering the results, but realizing that, hey, we're giving not only people a chance, but we're doing it through proving it, right? And so delivering these kinds of opportunities, it's one thing to be about passionate, how can I say, about delivering these opportunities, but it's also about showing the results as well. And so I think that's one of the reasons that we're very supportive of programs like Techtonica and Ada, and hope to continue these kinds of partnerships in the future.
Absolutely. So one last question for you. What has been your company's favorite part about working with our graduates?
That's a really good one. Where to start? I would say that I think there's two characteristics that really make up the success of this program and also our partnership. One is that one of our core values is inclusion and belonging, right? But aside from that, we, as I mentioned earlier, really value data. We really value this kind of curious tenacity. We also really value mentorship. And so having the opportunity to help lift others up and mentor them and help them grow is kind of, it's woven into our cultural fabric. So having that opportunity, but also having it met and realized with those who have this grit, this tenacity to learn, to grow, and are passionate about it and demonstrate it day in and day out, and have that matched with those who are compassionate, understanding, and looking for mentorship opportunities really has helped us grow together. So I would say that passion to discover, the demonstration of compassion for others, both from those who are full-time engineers on our company side, those who interact with our interns and/or full-time employees, and being able to realize these tangible results and tie them to business outcomes have been really amazing things to see from our partnership.
Amazing. Well, thanks so much, Kenji. Techtonica's partnership with Indeed is invaluable and has been definitely an integral part of the success of our organization. And we are superly grateful for your continuous support. So thank you.
Absolutely. I'd like to add just one little thing before I jump off my soapbox. So I'll throw my email address also into the chat if anybody's interested in getting in touch. Happy to discuss more about details, experience, or otherwise. I'm going to be very candid. I'm going to be very transparent. Indeed, very recently, we as other businesses in the tech field have gone on a hiring pause, right? Given the circumstances out there in the world. This has been incredibly heavy news to be able to deliver and to deal with, especially given the passion around this particular program and others. So we will not, at this point in time, be able to extend full-time opportunities for those. However, that being said, we are steadfast in supporting and ensuring the success of our current intern cohort in any way, shape, and form possible. These are dire times, right? They're extenuating circumstances that no one has seen before. That being said, I want to throw in there that this particular cohort, right, are facing challenges, up until now that have not been ever seen. And they're also more at risk, I would say, than a lot of others in the population. And so I would highly, highly, highly encourage those who have the opportunity to engage, have the opportunity to support, have the opportunity to even reach out and connect and say, hey, how can I help? To do so, because there's so much to be gained from this. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Kenji. We appreciate you and miss Indeed so much. Oh, I forgot to add for everyone that Indeed has also supported us with space. So we actually have been in Indeed space and all of the participants have been learning their training there. So yeah, next up, we're going to hear from Isabel. She is at Indeed now.
Hi.
Hi, Isabel. So can you start us off by telling a bit about yourself?
Yeah. Similar to a lot of the apprentices background, I also come from a non-traditional background. After graduating from college, I worked as a reporter for a Chinese language newspaper here in the Bay Area for about 5 years. My coding journey started when I bought a Udemy course on Python in 2018. And I think I built a tic-tac-toe games, and it was the best thing ever to me. So I definitely shared the excitement that Gloria had earlier with her little Kirby CSS animation. So that got me started thinking a lot about how other applications and services that impacts our day-to-day lives. And I really wanted to be part of that to drive those innovations and day-to-day things that people use in their lives. Yeah.
Okay. So what would you say, what parts of Techtonica do you think prepared you most for working at Indeed?
Yeah, so I'm currently at Indeed. I started working full-time this January. I'm super excited.
Yay,
yeah, so I think the last month of Techtonica really prepares me for the internship and also for the full-time job, because Techtonica has the last month solely dedicated for apprentices to learn whatever they need for their new job. And I was able to ramp up on Java, which is used at Indeed on the back end, and Spring. And my team also touches on some machine learning stuff. So that month I was able to learn a lot of that and get myself ready for that internship.
Okay. And how has your overall experience been with your placement company, or Indeed, I guess?
Yeah, I mean, everything has been great up until the COVID-19 outbreaks. My internship was really good, I think. My manager was super supportive. We were able to sit down and come up with kind of like a plan for my internship. So from the beginning, it was very clear to me what I needed to work on in order for them to convert me into a full-time. So that was really useful. I was also matched with a mentor. It sits right next to me. So that was really great. That makes me feel really comfortable to just have someone next to me that I could always turn to, ask questions and get myself unstuck.
Okay. So how has Techtonica changed your life overall? And if you feel comfortable asking, how much has your income increased since doing Techtonica?
Yeah, my life has since changed a lot. My income definitely.
Yeah, you're at the beach now.
Yeah. Yeah, my income definitely more than doubled. And that has taken a lot of struggle out of my life, and not having to worry about, whether or not you're going to have food on your table or being able to pay rent definitely help you focus a lot on your job. And just learning the technology and then breaking the tech, it was really good for me to finally be able to do what I always wanted to do.
And so now that you're in tech, what has surprised you most about being in it?
I think a lot of people, including myself, back then when I thought about tech, the first thing that came to my mind was the tech bro stereotypes. And I am really pleasantly surprised that I have not met any at Indeed, at least. So everyone I've met was very humble, very welcoming. A lot of them are very really wanting to help whenever I reach out, and they would graciously give their time and advice, anything that I need. So that was great.
That's awesome. Well, do you have any other comments about the long-term benefits of completing Techtonica, or want to share anything else with us?
I guess I would wrap up by saying everyone just hang in there, stay healthy, stay safe, and focus on the program, because think about it, in about 6 months, you could be me, working at a tech company, doing what you want to do. So just hang in there, push past this COVID-19 madness.
Thanks, Isabel.
Yeah.
Okay. And now I'll turn it back to Michelle.
Thanks, Tiffany and everyone. That was really awesome. I hear all of these things every day, obviously, but I just love hearing them all together. It's very nice. Yeah, we did get a couple of questions. If you have a question, feel free to put it in the chat box on YouTube or Zoom now. And hopefully that will be posted before we finish because there are only 2 questions. The first one is, how can we help to support the apprentices networking opportunities given the state of affairs, from Daima, who's one of our graduates? Yeah, I would say the main thing is that we are still using our Slack channel. We have a tech help channel where people are posting their questions. Mentors, we have people who will just figure out times that they can be available and post in that tech help channel and offer to jump on a Zoom with anyone who needs some pairing help. We also, if you check out techtonica.eventbrite.com, you'll see all of our upcoming events are now virtual. And if you join those, as there are several volunteer opportunities for practice interviews and resume reviews and helping with our beginners workshop, yeah, that would be really helpful. Otherwise, I guess the most helpful thing at this point, because Techtonica is still seeking sponsors for this cohort, would be to connect us with friends at companies who can just really advocate for Techtonica within those companies and push for sponsorship to happen, since it is a harder time with the economy right now. So we would really appreciate that. We really want to make sure, as with every other graduate so far, we can place 100% of our graduates into those 6 months of placement. So please connect us. The other question is, how has being remote changed the studying strategies, if at all, for the group alongside the roadmap/curriculum? Is there support needed there at all? Bill, would you like to answer this question? I think you kind of touched on it a little bit earlier.
Yeah, sure. So yeah, I was relatively new to education at all, at least as a job. And so I was kind of just getting my sea legs doing it in person. So switching to remote has been a challenge. But I think the main things has just been spending a lot of time either pairing or having group sessions in Zoom has been really helpful. And yeah, I think that's the biggest thing. But it's definitely been a challenge. I think that, like Tiffany was saying, sometimes you feel more alone than before. So having stand up and wrap up is a good time for us to say something that's nice and positive and not related to all the news we've been talking about. So that helps a lot too. And I think the biggest was just like having, those precious weeks to be in person to sort of gel a little bit more, because that would have made it really difficult if it was shorter. But yeah, I think overall everyone's, from my perspective, coped way better than that I would in their situation. So I'm really impressed by that.
Thanks, Bill. I don't see any other questions, but I will give just a little bit longer. If there's anyone especially who has questions around sponsoring and the stuff that Tiffany went over, she's here and available now. So I'll just give you a second. I did also want to say that if you are seeing this on YouTube, you aren't seeing the comments in the chat on here, and they are so fantastic. People are talking about how they are missing seeing each other and missing Indeed and the food of Indeed. They're raving about Gloria's fantastic game. Gloria linked to the game, about missing the personalities from a wonderful volunteer and mentor. So it's been really fantastic to see the support happening right now. Thank you so much. All right. That cold brew on tap, huh? Okay, I think that's it then. If you do have questions, Tiffany's email is tquoc@techtonica.org. And then there is a general contact form on our website at techtonica.org where you can send questions if you have them. We're also all over social media. So if you DM us or respond to a tweet or whatever, we are happy to answer your questions. Thank you so much, everyone, for making the time on this Wednesday evening. And we hope to hear from you all again soon. Bye.
Thanks, Michelle.
Thanks, Michelle. Thanks all.
Thank you, everyone. So good to see everyone.
Thank you.
I miss y'all.
I miss you, Talia.
I miss you
I
all
need a
so
hug.
much. A hug.
Please, let's do a group hug.
Group hug.
Yeah.
No. Hopefully we see each other in person soon. Bye, you all.
Hey, wait, 1 second. Jog,
Yes.
do you recognize my my background image?
Yes, I do. Hello.
Yes, finally.
Mads Mikkelsen. Yeah. I fell in love with him during Hannibal, though, so it's like a little concerning, but great show, great show.
Yeah, that's when I got on board too.
Yeah.
This is now Hannibal fan chat. Everyone, you can...
Sorry.
Everyone watching on YouTube are like, what is this program?
Yeah.
Speak directly to us about Hannibal. All right, goodbye, everyone.
Bye. Have a good night.